yesterday when the results of the nuclear posture review were announced. And as we all know, President Obama has chosen to announce to the world that we will relinquish our right to retaliate our substantial nuclear arsenal, if a nation attacks us and is compliant with the non-proliferation treaty, but attacks us with chemical or biological weapons. This, to me, is a travesty, and I'm sure it is to you as well. President Reagan advocated a policy called peace constraint, as we all know. That policy resonates in our history. It is what has kept us safe. It is what has kept us strong. I am an American raised by an immigrant to this country and by two veterans of World War II. And I was raised to cherish the freedoms that our Constitution guaranteed us. The most humane and empowering system of government ever devised. And it has allowed millions upon millions of Americans over the 200-plus years of its existence, of our Constitution's existence, to rise from wretchedness to prosperity and dignity. So I believe passionately in that American exceptionalism. And I thought, as I mentioned yesterday, of Ronald Reagan. And I think of him again when we consider what this Congress and this administration, as Mark just mentioned, are doing to our economy, to our future, to our freedoms, to what defines us as Americans, through their steady overtaking of this American economy, including, of course, the health care bill. I am a physician. I practiced for 16 years in Westchester County. I live in Bedford. And I've run a small business as well. My first practice was actually a solo practice, so I've run a small business. I know what it's like, as many of you do, to invest capital, work evenings and weekends, hire staff, pay taxes, make it fun. And I worry very much that your children, my children, and future generations are not going to have the opportunities that we had, are not going to have the choices that we had, are not going to have the vibrant economy that we have and that we have enjoyed because of what this Congress and this administration is doing. To nationalize our economy, to nationalize our industries, General Motors, American International Group, stimulus, bailouts. Has anybody here created or saved a job or seen one that was created or saved because of the stimulus? Anybody in this room?
No.
And that indeed has been my answer, the answer that I received throughout District 19. We need to change it. Our congressman is John Hall, as you know. John Hall has voted with Nancy Pelosi and with the president down the line throughout his years in this Congress. He has voted millions of dollars out of our district, which is a donor district. We all know what's happening to the economy in New York State. This is a microcosm of what's going to happen to our United States of America. We are headed for default. We are headed for unsustainable debt. We are headed for generations of servitude to the federal government if we do not vote no to any further stimulus, any further bailout, if we don't vote no to any spending beyond what is essential within the enumerated powers of our federal government based on the Constitution. I am running to preserve, protect, and defend that Constitution from threats both without and within. And I would be honored to have your support from across Districts 18, 19, and 17, and certainly from within District 19. And I'd be honored to have your questions.
I'm not in your district, but I'm addressing this in a sense to many of the candidates. Most of us here are pro-life. Certainly in the Orthodox Jewish community, we're very actively pro-life. time, there's a provision in Jewish law that's over 2,000 years old that permits an abortion if the life of the mother is in danger. It is in point of fact the exact opposite of the teaching of the Catholic Church, and it was explained beautifully one time by the previous Archbishop of New York. But those of us in the Orthodox community will worry that any total pro-life stance will come butting heads with a 2,000-year-old religious law of a religious group that certainly has a fairly high regard for life, and I would like to have that dealt with.
Thank you, sir. I have enormous respect for the pro-life position, and held by many friends and supporters and neighbors of mine. I am a candidate who actually takes a pro-choice stance with stipulations. I'm opposed to late-term procedures unless the life of the mother is involved. And by the way, I'm a Lutheran married to a Reformed Jewish husband. I'm a member of the synagogue, actually, as well as the church in Westchester County. And I've raised two good Jewish boys. But I have certain stipulations, including, as I mentioned, about late-term procedures, and including parental notification and consent. I also agree completely with the federal spending stipulations of the Hyde Amendment and the Domestic Violence Agreement.
One last question, because I want to throw it open to everyone.
Yes, I met you a couple weeks back. How running for office and your husband being a doctor, an obstetrician, how does that affect your decisions when it comes to running, when it comes to health care and abortion?
Sure, absolutely. He doesn't perform abortion. It was actually his suggestion that I run for Congress. So he is fully supportive of it. He is working, now I have to say about the equivalent of 3 jobs. He has his clinical practice as a gynecologist. He actually is also the president and CEO of the Manchester Medical Group. And he's a tremendous helpmeet at home. He has become, we have 2 sons, 17 and 19. The 17-year-old still at home. And Scott has become the parent in charge. And my 17-year-old, I might add, is eager to get his mother to Washington, so please help him out.